Hello, and welcome to Rise Unwind. I'm Chris Molony. Each week, we connect with people across the country to share ideas, inspiration, and simple ways you can enjoy life right in your own neighborhood. On this week's show, we've got that and plenty more.
When issues face these businesses, we feel like it's our responsibility to help them navigate their way through a complicated environment.
So they're sailing 7-night itineraries, and they're hitting some iconic Alaskan ports like Ketchikan, Icy Strait Point, Juneau, Victoria. They're sailing into Endicott Arm Fjord and Dawes Glacier. That's where these really grandiose sceneries and the wildlife, whales, maybe bear sightings.
From day one, I had a nurse that was coming to the house through quorum, and she was just a reassuring figure really especially for my wife and kids.
So sit back, relax, and let's rise and unwind. Summer travel season is picking up, and Denver is landing on a lot of travelers' radar this year thanks to its mix of live music, outdoor adventure, sports, and festivals. From the 85th anniversary celebration at Red Rocks to easy access to the mountains, the city is becoming a go-to summer escape for families and weekend travelers alike. Joining us now from Red Rocks Amphitheater is travel trends analyst Gabe Saglie. Welcome, Gabe.
Hey, Chris, good to join you from a spot I know you know quite well.
Oh, it's one of my favorite places in the world. Now, what's putting Denver so high on travelers' summer list this year?
All right, a lot of us in the travel space are talking about gig tripping, finding a festival or a major concert or a sporting event and building a vacation around that. And Denver certainly offering plenty of inspiration to do just that for summer 2026. A couple of festivals of note, starting as early as later this month, Chris. Outside Days is back for its third year. That's a 3-day festival celebrating all things outdoors and adventure travel, films and speakers and live music taking place right downtown in Denver. All of June, of course, is Pride Month out here in Denver, but the main ticket event is Pride Fest, which moves to a new location in downtown Denver along 16th Street on June 28th. More than 500,000 people descending on Denver for that very colorful, very energetic event. And the Cherry Creek Arts Festival, celebrating 35 years this year. That's an event, Chris, that brings people from all over the country to mingle with hundreds of artists in a beautiful location there at the Cherry Creek North neighborhood in Denver as well. And then, of course, you've got the sports calendar, which is already in full swing. Of course, the Colorado Rockies playing at Coors Field. Here's a venue, by the way, that is walking distance from any of your favorite downtown hotels. It's right smack in the middle of town. And that season for the Rockies going all the way, of course, through September. If you're a soccer fan, the city now has its very first professional women's soccer team, the Denver Summit FC. That season now in full swing. And, of course, the Savannah Bananas coming to Denver in the middle of August for a couple of days. They take over Coors Field. If you've never seen Banana Ball live, this is the venue to see it when the Savannah Bananas come to Denver in mid-August. So, Chris, from cultural events, from sporting events, plenty of excuses to build a little bit of vacationing around those and enjoying Denver in this beautiful summer season.
All right, that beautiful venue you're standing in, Red Rocks Amphitheater, it's celebrating 85 years. It's definitely the coolest venue I've ever been to, but for the uninitiated, what makes it such a special place?
So, this is, what an office to have today, right? This beautiful venue, which is just about 20 minutes outside of downtown Denver. And I was here before the sun rose this morning, and I was not alone. A lot of people out here doing their calisthenics, doing their aerobics, exercises, doing their yoga, their meditation as the sun comes up from behind the cityscape and bathes this beautiful venue in sunlight. This is an ecological wonder, as you know, Chris. Yeah, we've got fossilized dinosaur remains here that go back 300 million years. But 85 years ago, this also became what's now become known as one of the great performing arts venues in the world. Around these 300-foot red sandstone rock formations, a 10,000-foot theater. So some amazing acoustics, amazing ambiance as well. And to celebrate that 85th anniversary, an impressive lineup of acts for in a season that's really already underway. Paul Simon coming out here this summer, Rod Stewart, Santana, Alex Warren, Hilary Duff. Russell Dickerson performs tonight, by the way, so a lot of country music fans will be descending on Red Rocks for that. So, from a venue standpoint, tough to beat Red Rocks Amphitheater, and from an ecological, sort of historical standpoint, a top-tier destination as well.
All right, you've already given us so many great events coming up, but what's the standout event this summer in Denver's art, culture, or festival scene?
Well, keep in mind that from a historical standpoint, the USA celebrating its 250th anniversary, but Colorado as a state celebrating its 150th anniversary as a 38th state to join the union. So a lot of historical events across the city around that. There's a place called the History Colorado Center right downtown with some wonderful exhibits, artifacts, storytelling experiences, talking about Colorado, talking about the West, of course, the U.S. in general. And then if you love outdoor open-air venues like Red Rocks Amphitheater, Chris, plenty of others to talk about. You got Fiddler's Green Amphitheater. They're hosting the Black Crowes, Dave Matthews Band, Howard Jones this summer, and a lot of film under the stars opportunities across Denver as well, including a spot called McGregor Square, where they've got a 66-foot LED screen, and they're screening tons of free movies over the summer as well. So it's really, I think, about tapping that phenomenal weather that Denver experiences a year round in so many ways, but certainly as we head toward the summer season, 70s and 80s, and just beautiful fresh air to enjoy a ton of cultural and historical events this summer season.
For families and people who love the outdoors, what makes Denver such an easy getaway?
And listen, that's how actually we've become fans of Denver as a family. We live in Southern California. It's a 2-hour flight out to Denver for us. Within minutes, you're in downtown, walking distance to all of these great restaurants and venues. You know, the fact of the matter is that there are 5,000 acres of parks and open space venues and pathways across Denver. So if you like to just do a lot of walking, biking, hiking, plenty of opportunity to do that. And of course, Rocky Mountain National Park, Chris, just about a 90-minute drive northwest of Denver. So a lot of folks love to do that as a day visit. Amazing terrain out there. Multiple ecosystems as you traverse that altitude from about 7,000 to 14,000 feet. You can also do some great camping out there as well and spend a few days there as well. But Denver as a home base for a lot of these natural experiences, sort of these natural wonders, is a no-brainer, to be sure.
All right, Gabe, where can our viewers go for more information?
All right, Chris, check out visitdenver.com. Lots of trip planning ideas there and a calendar chock full of events for summer 2026.
Gabe, thanks so much for being here. Now go get one of those omelets I keep hearing about.
You got it. You got it.
Summer get-togethers always sound great until somebody ends up stuck making drinks in the kitchen the whole night. This season, a lot of people are leaning into what's being called flavor matchmaking. Simple cocktail pairings that fit the mood without making hosting stressful. Joining us now is Geoff Dillon, founder of Dillon's Small Batch Distillers, with a few easy ideas to elevate summer parties and backyard hangouts. Welcome, Geoff.
Thank you for having me, Chris.
Geoff, you're a master distiller. What do you mean when you talk about flavor matchmaking?
Well, it's a term we're using to describe pairing a drink with a moment. So here in Niagara, we're very seasonally focused. Summer's coming up. We're thinking bright flavors, citrus, berries, herbs, cucumber, things that feel light and refreshing. Kind of like a food pairing. A great cocktail can really make or break your hosting event.
As we're heading into summer party season, what are a few flavor combinations people should try?
Well, I'm coming to you from our home base here. So we are surrounded by fruit orchards, by greenhouses, by amazing family farms, and we lean on these friends of ours to grow the flavors that we're using in our drinks. My flavor of the year, of the summer, is our strawberry rhubarb and a zest of lime cocktail. I'm garnishing with everything here because why not? But it's got that nice sweetness from the strawberry. It's got the tartness from the rhubarb and the acidity from the lime. Beautifully balanced. It's just an absolute summer crusher.
A lot of hosts want things to feel special without spending the whole gathering mixing drinks. What are some ways we can keep it simple?
And I love this question because I think I've spent a decade hosting incorrectly. As a distiller, people always wanted me to be making, fabulous cocktails, or I thought I should be making great cocktails, spending 10 minutes each one, and the whole party I'd just be making drinks. I don't do that anymore. I learned that being a relaxed host is a good host. So I pre-chill my cocktails, ready to drinks. I keep the menu simple, but most importantly, I'm building a little garnish bar. So I'm letting people pour the drinks into their own glassware and garnish it themselves. Choose what they want. It feels elevated and they feel like they're part of the process. It makes hosting so much easier, and now I get to spend time with the people I'm hosting.
In your opinion, what makes a summer cocktail pairing really work?
As a distiller, I'm always thinking about balance. So not too much sweet, especially in the summer. Anything too sweet is nobody's going to come back to. We want to bring in some of that fresh acidity. That's the big one. And then in Dillon's, we love to add in a little complexity with a botanical or an herb.
If people want more ideas or recipes, where can we get more information?
You can head on over to our website, dillonsmallbatch.com. We've got a locator on there where you can find our where our spirits and our cocktails are sold, and we are brand new in Florida this year. And you can also learn more about our cocktails.
Geoff, thanks so much for being here and upping our party game.
Thank you very much.
Facing a chronic illness can affect every part of a person's life, including their emotional health. Eric Borstein was once told he only had months to live, and he credits emotional support and resilience as an important part of his recovery journey. He joins us this morning for Mental Health Awareness Month. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you for having me.
Eric, can you take us back a bit to the beginning and share your story with us?
So 5.5 years ago, I was at home. I collapsed and was dying in the bedroom. I was taken to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center here in Los Angeles, where I spent 16 days in the intensive care unit. Was diagnosed with a very rare terminal chronic disease called pulmonary arterial hypertension, a disease with no cure. I left the hospital. Unbeknownst to me, I was given 2 to 4 months to live, but I made an immediate decision that I wasn't going to die. And here I am today doing some pretty amazing things.
Along the way, you made a decision to focus on your emotional well-being in addition to treatment. What led to that shift, and how important was it in your recovery?
So when I was sent home on some pretty powerful medications that are life-saving that I'm still on today. And I learned very early on that walking helped both mitigate the side effects of those medications, but also helped with positive mental health. I see a psychologist once a week, something that I've done ever since I left the hospital. And he has taught me some pretty important lessons. The most important being that positive mental health really equates to finding something that you love to do. And for me, that's walking.
For patients and caregivers going through something similar, what have you learned about supporting both physical and emotional health at the same time?
Living with PAH is isolating. You know, you're suffocating from the inside. And that isolation for me, leading up to my diagnosis, led to depression. After that, you know, relying on my village has been another key component to my recovery. And not being isolated is just, it's critical. And, you know, another one of the lessons that I like to teach in my recovery and my journey is that you're not alone. You know, my village consists of my family, my friends, my neighbors, my community, my doctors, and CVS Specialty Pharmacy. You know, from day one, I had a nurse that was coming to the house through quorum, and she was just a reassuring figure for really, especially for my wife and kids. And so between positive mental health, nutrition, diet, and my village, you know, those are what I call pieces of my pie. And have just been, it's a formula that's worked for me and has been instrumental in my recovery.
So it sounds like walking has become a very important part of your recovery, and so much so that people on the streets are calling you the walking guy. How did that simple habit grow into something much bigger for you?
Yeah, so after leaving the hospital, you know, walking around the block turned into 1 mile, 2 miles, 3, eventually 10. And now I walk 13 to 15 miles a day. I have again learned that walking helps with mitigating the side effects of the medications, but also helps with positive mental health. And that balance gets me through every day. I walk upwards of 5,000 miles a year. And every year I walk from LA to San Diego, 205 miles to raise awareness. We've raised over $500,000 in the last 2 years through a movement called Where is EB? And we raise it for an organization called Team Phenomenal Hope. They provide assistance for patients all over the country living with pulmonary hypertension who need it most.
Where can people go if they'd like more information?
You can go to whereiseb.org or cvshealth.com, or on social media, you can follow me on Instagram at whereiseb.
Eric, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story.
Thank you.
Gas prices are climbing again, and for small businesses that rely on trucks and vans every day, those costs add up fast. Matt Atkinson is with Ford Pro North America, and he joins us this morning with a look at how businesses are adapting and what they need to stay competitive. Welcome, Matt.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, gas prices have gone up pretty quickly lately. What are you hearing from small business owners about how they're handling these higher fuel costs?
Yeah, well, you're hitting on a topic we are hearing a lot about today. And you mentioned small business and trucks and vans. And one of the things that we're proud of at Ford Pro is that small business trusts and relies on Ford trucks and vans more than any other automaker. And so when issues face these businesses, we feel like it's our responsibility to help them navigate their way through a complicated environment. And it's one of the reasons why, as I'm sure you've seen already this month, is that we launched our employee pricing from our business to yours campaign. So that, not only in a world where they may be facing additional headwinds that they didn't anticipate, by giving them a reliable and transparent price on the truck or van that they may be purchasing, but it's also a great opportunity just to say thank you for all that they've done to build the country and what they're going to do for us in the future. And so we're super excited that this is happening right during National Small Business Month, so that we can help play our part in keeping the country growing.
When costs are rising almost everywhere, what are some of the areas small business owners still have control over?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, it starts with the vehicle, and it's not a coincidence that our campaign tries to address that and provide some consistency and transparency. But what we hear time and time again, especially with these businesses that rely on their vehicle for their livelihood, is that any downtime that they experience is consequential to their overall business, and it impacts their local communities where they're trying to serve. And so our commitment to uptime and what we can do both from a vehicle reliability standpoint, as well as the software solutions to help them run and operate efficiently, is really paramount, especially during challenging times. And we think we've got the best portfolio to do that across our lineup, and working in concert with our dealer network. We know that customers may be facing a lot, but they can trust the Ford brand and Ford Pro to help them meet whatever needs that they might be having.
Across different industries, where are you seeing the biggest day-to-day operational challenges right now?
Well, look, one of the reasons why we love small business is because it touches so many different things. Small business and the skilled labor associated with it represent 95 million jobs. They work in 3 million businesses, and it drives $12 trillion of GDP. So we see it from the services, we see it from trades, construction, home repair, you name it. These are businesses that when there are macroeconomic factors at play, these are the areas that are hit the most, and where we need to help step up in the most genuine way that we can. And for us, especially as the most American company, where we hire more hourly workers than anyone in the U.S., we build more vehicles than any other automaker in the United States. We feel like it's our responsibility to again, not just say thank you for all you've done, but provide them that consistency and confidence in the trucks and vans that they're purchasing, that they can get the right value for the vehicles that they respect and need the most.
Matt, you work closely with fleet vehicles and work vans every day. What do those vehicles tell you about where the economy stands right now?
Well, you're right, and the way that the industry is evolving to incorporate more and more technology and leverage the information that we're getting from the modems off of vehicles is really apparent in helping companies manage their fleets. When you talk about trying to deliver overall efficiencies that can have an impact on driving habits, that can drive fuel costs, our telematics and software solutions are as core to our business as the transits and Super Duty vehicles that we send to our dealers. And every day we're working with customers through our dealer network and separately to help ensure that they understand the tools and resources that are available to them, so that they can lean into whatever it might be facing them.
When you talk with small business owners, what do they say they need most to stay competitive in this environment?
They want reliability. When vehicles are down, as I talked about earlier, those are missed opportunities that impact their livelihood. And when we're talking small business, these are our friends, our family members, our neighbors, that are relying on their vehicles to provide for their families, to serve their communities. these are individuals, they give more than they take. And what they want most is a manufacturer and a vehicle that they can trust. And we are so very proud of the relationship that we've built over time with these individuals. And we stand with them, especially now during National Small Business Month, but forever into the future.
All right. Where can people go if they'd like to learn more?
I would encourage any interested small business or customer individual to visit our website at Ford.com. And certainly our dealer network is equipped during this promotion to handle all questions. And we look forward to talking to many customers and establishing new relationships.
Matt, thanks so much for joining us today.
Appreciate it.
A lot of people dream about seeing Alaska someday, but planning a trip like that can feel overwhelming. MSC Cruises is launching its very first Alaska season this spring with the newly refurbished MSC Poesia sailing out of Seattle. Travel writer and editor Terry Ward joins us now from the Seattle cruise port with a look at what travelers can expect from this new adventure. Welcome, Terry.
Hi, Chris. Nice to be here. Thank you. We're here at Elliott Bay Marina overlooking Pier 91 at the Port of Seattle, and you can see MSC Poesia right behind me. It's just come into port this morning and is leaving on its inaugural cruise. First one for MSC and first one for the ship just this evening.
So cool. MSC Cruises is heading to Alaska for the first time this season. What can passengers expect from this experience?
Right. So they're sailing 7-night itineraries, and they're hitting some iconic Alaskan ports like Ketchikan, Icy Strait Point, Juneau, Victoria. They're sailing into Endicott Arm Fjord and Dawes Glacier. That's where these really grandiose sceneries and the wildlife, whales, maybe bear sightings. They've got some exciting new excursions too on seaplane into misty fjords when you're in Ketchikan. There's dog sledding in Juneau. And just like I said, whale watching, just being on the ship is going to be an experience this season.
Now that newly refurbished MSC Poesia right behind you looks gorgeous. What are some of the biggest upgrades or changes guests will notice while they're on board?
Sure. So she's been in dry dock and it's just come out. So many exciting new refurbishments. What I'm really excited about is the MSC Yacht Club, which is MSC's ship within a ship concept. So it's these elevated suites, 69 of them, and they've got their own private butler service. They've got private amenities, but they've also got access to everything else on the rest of the ship. They've also upgraded RES Spa. It's got a dry sauna, a Himalayan salt room, and just all kinds of invigorating places once you come out of that cold and back on the ship. So they've also added 2 signature restaurants from people might recognize from some of their other cruise ships. That's Butcher's Cut, their American Steakhouse, and Kato, which is an Asian concept.
Now, Alaska is one of those bucket list type destinations for so many people. What makes seeing it by cruise such a unique experience as opposed to traveling by land?
Yeah, I mean, you can hit so many destinations. And what I love about cruising in general is that you unpack once, packing and repacking and moving and figuring out transport when you want to see a lot of a place. Alaska is just a massive state and a kind of overwhelming destination. And MSC Poesia has taken the guesswork out of hitting some of the best spots. And also the cost benefit. You really can't beat if you're looking to save money. I think we all are right now. Cruising, because it wraps in everything, all your meals, your transportation. And a lot of people can even drive to cruise port destinations within the US if you want to avoid flying and the hassle with that this summer. So I think cruising really makes it easy for people right now who just want to get away and feel like it's a real getaway.
For our viewers already thinking about summer travel, how long will these Alaska sailings be available?
Sure. So like I said, they're sailing out tonight on their first 7-night cruise on MSC Poesia, and you can book for itineraries through September for this season. And you can also book for the 2027 season already. So now's the time.
You mentioned the excursions. What type of experiences are really standing out on these trips?
Well, imagine coming into port in Ketchikan, one of the most gorgeous ports in all of Alaska, and then you get on a seaplane and go sightseeing in Misty Fjord. That one sounds really special to me. I'm dying to take my kids dog sledding in Juneau. There's nothing like piloting a dog sled through the snow. So yeah, there's glacier viewing, just even being on the ship, drinking a hot chocolate, watching humpbacks, watching orcas pass by. Alaska's just awe-inspiring in every way, and moving through it at the pace of this cruise ship is going to be really special.
Where can people go if they want to learn more or start planning a cruise of their own?
Sure thing. Ready to book your itinerary on MSC Poesia, learn more about cruising with MSC. It's msccruises.com.
Terry, thanks so much for being here, and thanks for the sweet captain's hat.
Thank you, Chris. Have a great day.
Americans are feeling higher costs just about everywhere right now, from groceries to housing to insurance. Some experts say one major factor people may not realize is contributing to those rising prices is legal system abuse. Joining us this morning is Dr. Robert P. Hartwig, Director of the Center for Risk and Uncertainty Management at the University of South Carolina. Thanks for being here.
Glad to be with you, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Why is legal system abuse contributing to rising costs for everyday Americans?
Well, Chris, the answer is actually quite simple, but it actually is below the surface. So what is happening today is we are seeing more lawsuits and lawsuits that are costing more. You can see that on the highways and byways of America with the billboards that are everywhere and the advertisements that we see and hear everywhere. But it goes far beyond that. When we think about the price of vegetables in a grocery store, or the cost of a new home or homeowner's insurance, all of these are being affected by an epidemic of litigation in America. And it's just going on beneath the surface. And so part of what we're here to do today is to increase awareness and help people get more information about what they can do.
All right, expand on that idea. How do lawsuit costs end up affecting things like grocery store prices, insurance bills, and housing costs?
Right. Well, if we just think about the grocery store and you think about a tangerine that was grown somewhere in Florida, what can happen is that tangerine and anything that's in the grocery store is going to be transported by truck or by train. Well, trucking firms are a favorite target of trial lawyers all across the United States. Okay. If we think about building a new home and we think about everything that goes into a home, we can think about the costs of all of those being transported. And there's litigation, of course, against anybody that's transporting that, but there's going to be litigation against the builders themselves. And in fact, we had an epidemic of litigation in Florida that pretty much brought about the near collapse of the Florida homeowners insurance market just a few years ago. And it was only some reforms back in 2022 or so that actually saved that market. But as we all know in Florida, that really drove up the cost. But think about the cost of a visit to your doctor. Doctors are being sued as well. We hear about giant medical malpractice awards. That's driving up the cost of your doctor's insurance. Think about the jury awards against pharmaceutical companies. If you are on just about any pharmaceutical out there, they are probably or have been subject to some form of litigation. This is driving up the cost of your health care. So whether it's an avocado or whether it's an ordinary checkup, you're paying more because of litigation.
Now, you mentioned reforms. What reforms could make the biggest difference for consumers today?
There are some types of legal system abuse that are particularly nefarious and few people have heard about. One of those is known as third-party litigation financing. And what that is an investment firm investing in lawsuits, hoping to profit, believe it or not, off the woes of someone else who may have suffered damages. And this is driving up the number of very costly lawsuits. It's causing them to take longer to settle, which is all costly. And believe it or not, even Russian billionaires are investing in this, Russian oligarchs, and they're getting money from the damages someone else actually suffered and taking that money offshore. If that's not an abuse, I don't know what it is. That needs to be disclosed to judges, to juries, and to consumers, because when they hear about it, they greatly dislike it.
All right, where can our viewers go for more information?
We recommend that everyone go to the website of the American Property Casualty Insurance Association at apci.org.
Dr. Hartwig, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure, anytime.
That's it for Rise and Unwind. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to learn more about the show, visit our website at riseunwindtv.com. And for behind-the-scene moments and celebrity interviews, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rise Unwind. You can also find our full episodes on YouTube under the same name at Rise Unwind. Until next week, I'm Chris Molony. Thanks for spending a little time with us on Rise and Unwind.